Hey everyone, it's Justine and welcome to a new video tutorial. I'm taking a quick break from my April collab series to talk about the new Fringe Frenzy Kit from Concord and Ninth that released today. Now for the Fringe Frenzy Kit, it's kind of like a tongue twister. It's this beautiful kit, comes in this really fun packaging. And I love the packaging because it tells you everything you need. The kit, clear blocks or a stamping tool, ink, cardstock, scissors, die cut machine, and some party music. And so what you need to do is it comes with everything inside, which I'll show you in a second. And it has several ideas on how you can use a fringe. So for example, doing peek throughs here and having the fringe come through a die cut panel, like through the square die, or the rectangle die rather, and the yay sentiment. They then have shapes like layer, fringe, and then die cut, or die cut, layer, then fringe. Completely up to you. There's a couple of suggestions for add-ons for items sold separately in the shop, and then it gives you some other ideas as well, like having these coordinating dies with the piñata party, or you can coordinate them with some of your older products like that cactus die, pineapple die, ornament, heart, hello that were released significantly a while ago. And then on the side it has the spacing guide too in case you need it. And it has some information here as well as some inspirational cards, and it shows the kit contents on the back. So this is a really fun kit. I enjoyed it a lot. I love how it came with this cute little business card from them to show the inspiration on Instagram. This is one of the double-sided tape here that you'll need to create with this. And then here you have the stamp that it comes with. So you have a couple of sentiments, couple of coordinating birthday style sentiments. Then you have these dies that cut out a rectangle, the word yay, a heart, bow, the fringe itself, a scallop, as well as two little banners with some words hip and hooray. So lots of inspiration in this kit, as well as a small little paper pack. And what's really great about this cardstock is it's super thin. So with my Gemini Junior, I was actually able to cut out 4 of the fringe at a time because the cardstock is quite thin. And it also makes it easier later for when you want to sort of spruce up the fringe and kind of get it to go into a more textured look. So I'm going to go ahead and start die cutting some fringe here, getting it all ready to go. So I have a nice big pile, and I've cut all the colors that come in the kit. And I'm going to also cut this rectangle in the center of my cardstock. I'm just recreating a couple of the cards that are shown in the inspiration guide because I feel like these are the cards that are really beautiful. It uses all the same colors since I'm using just kit contents here. And I thought that would be nice to show you how they're done. So now that I've run that through my die cutting machine, I now have a big hole in the center of my cardstock. I'm going to grab the little platter stamp here so I can stamp it as if it were a birthday cake. So the rectangle is going to have fringe inside and look like a layered cake, which I thought would be kind of fun. I decided to use some Twilight Light Gray ink from Catherine Pooler here, and I'm just inking this up with a block and stamping it down. You can also use a Misty stamping tool, of course, or any sort of stamping tool that you may have in your collection. I'm then going to go ahead and stamp the birthday candles. I'm going to be using an ink that I believe will coordinate well with that teal cardstock, which is All That Jazz from Catherine Pooler. And I'm being careful to just ink up the candles themselves. And what's really fun is that you can, of course, adjust how high you want the candles because it's going to stamp through the hole. So it's completely up to you how high you want to make them. And then I'm going to take some tiara ink and just ink up the actual flames of the candles. I'm using a microfiber cloth here to just get that excess ink off of it, and then I just stamped those down as well. So now I have my card base already, I have my card panel already, and I'm going to go ahead and trace a pencil line where my cake is going to be showing through the card. So that's where I want my fringe to be. And the great part about this is I can actually just tear my fringe in half. There's no need to really cut it with scissors if you don't want to, because really in the end you're not going to see those edges. And I'm going to be able to layer these on top. So when working with fringe, you have to go from the bottom and work your way to the top. I'm using this 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I'm going to be layering it on the part of my fringe here that is not separable, so not on the fringe part, but rather on the border on the top. And I'm going to layer that. And once again, they do have that spacing guide that comes with the kit if you feel like you need it. I didn't find like I really needed it when I was doing it, but I did use it a couple times just to make sure that I had the spacing, or the idea of the spacing really. And just to make sure I had that in place. So you're just going to layer one on top of the other. It's about 1/4 of an inch or so that you want going upwards. And as I said, this spacing guide here can help you out if you have any trouble with that. I find some people are really good at eyeballing things, some people aren't, and I happen to be one of the people that are, so to me I just ended up layering the rest of them just kind of freehand, and if I have one that's a little bit crooked, I don't find that to be the end of the world. So just making sure my fringe here is covering both of those pencil lines, so making sure it's a little bit larger than my frame itself. And you can go in on this fringe too and use the scallop die as shown on the project inspiration to actually make your fringe into a scallop. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. You can lay it flat, you could ruffle the fringe. It's completely up to you how you want to do it and how much texture you want. But what the most important thing is, of course, adding enough fringe here so that when you go to do the border, that not a big piece of just solid cardstock is showing through. So making sure you do cover the top of it there. And so I'm layering the different cardstocks, the teal, the yellow, the pink, and just adding that double-sided tape and keep working my way up. So when I'm all finished, I am able to just take my frame and take a look at how it's going to look when I cover it up later. I'm going to add some adhesive to my card panel where I have that die cut there, remove the backing off of the adhesive and stick it down on top of my card base. Now I went ahead and just ruffled some of these here. What I tended to do was I pulled these up and out of the die cut here with a craft pick. I found that to be easiest. Then I just generally used a mixture of the craft pick and my fingers to kind of ruffle all of these little fringe pieces here, and you can really get a cool textured look when they're all finished. I find the photography when I went to photograph these, well, it is also later in the evening when I photograph these, it doesn't do the card justice. So I hope you get a nice look on the video here as to what it looks like, because I think it looks really pretty. And I absolutely love kind of the messiness to the card, you could say. I'm going to give you some additional ideas with the kit as well, and I just think this is such a versatile kit. You could switch up the colors, you could switch up how much of the fringe, you could add one border, you could add 20, it's completely up to you. You can die cut it, it's just really is super versatile. So I'm going to go through a couple of those techniques. I'm going to go ahead and layer my fringe once again. I'm using a scrap piece of 4x4 cardstock here, and just layering up those pieces once again. So once I finished cover everything that I wanted, I was able to take the heart. This is from the Heartstrings die. This is one of the suggested dies. If you don't already have this one, it comes with a really cool stamp set, and it's the coordinating die for that. And here I'm just going to go ahead and cut all of this fringe here. Once again, I'm just going to go ahead and ruffle these up here, again, using whatever you like to make them messy and making them as messy as you like. And I like the fact that when I die cut it, a couple of the pieces kind of fell off the top, making that yellow shine through. But I kind of liked the look, so I kept it as is, even though a couple of them did fall off here. If you don't like the look that some of them fall off, what you can do is you can actually die cut this heart onto a card base like we did on the first card, or onto the card panel rather, and then just have all of the fringe glued nicely in rows, and then place that behind the die cut, and that way you have the fringe coming out of the heart instead of the fringe being cut out of the heart. So that will eliminate anything sort of falling off or anything like that. So here is a final look at that card here. I love it. I ended up pairing it up with some of the cardstock that came in the kit to give it a little yellow frame around it to bring out some of that color. So my next idea here, I went in and I decided to do some party hats. And for this one here, I have to say it's more of a live and learn process. Now, I would have, if I gone back to do this card, die cut those party hats out of my card panel and then just place them over top of these ruffles. Just because I found the die cut a little on the smaller side, I did ended up losing quite a bit of pieces when I was putting it through. But I think it's important to show what you've done and then how you explain how you can make it better, or show how you can make it better. So I hope that you'll learn from that mistake of mine, because these party hats do look a little bit on the messier side. I was fighting daylight though, and since I just got my kit the other day and I've been doing all these videos for April, there just wasn't enough daylight time in order to film a redo on this card, but I thought I would show it anyway. And you don't have to worry too much about the tops anyway if you see that some's fallen off, because you could add the little pom-poms to the party hats and then it looks just fine when it's all done. So I'm curious as to what you think of the Fringe Frenzy kit so far. Do you like fringe? Is it your style? Is it something you want to try? I have to say I've never really used fringe so much in my card making, but I really like this die. I think it's such a fun kit. I love the colors. I love the coordinating areas. I could probably make cards for days with this. Definitely want to see if I can get some thinner cardstock though in a couple of different colors and see how I can switch things up. Although I'm sure it would work with regular cardstock as well. It just might be a little bit more difficult to get that really good texture on it. I'm now going in and I decided to stamp a little bit of a background with these fun little chains that came in the stamp set, and I thought I would add all three of the colors that are in the kit, the teal, yellow, as well as the pink. And this here is a die add-on. It's called the Party Piñata, and I thought it would be fun to kind of have the fringe looking like hair instead of having it like just regular fringe. So I thought that was kind of cool to cut the animal out of. And you could, of course, again, cut this out of your card panel, have the fringe popping out, give it a lot more texture. It's completely up to you. And what's cool is that it comes with a bow as well, so you can make it look like your piñata is hanging. So that's another fun idea with this kit. So I hope you enjoyed some of my inspiration with the Fringe Frenzy Kit, and you can go ahead and check that out. It's now live in the store. I find their kits do sell out quickly, so be sure to grab one if you liked these cards. And you can check out the entire new release that is available. There's plenty of inspiration on the blog as well as Concord and Nine's YouTube channel. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful time here. I'll be back with another collab tomorrow, and I will be, if you want to hit the subscribe button, please do, and then I have a suggested video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.